I'm in partnership with Mothers to Mothers, and I'm privileged to have the country lead and also the technical expert or specialist for Mothers to Mothers office here in Accra, Ghana. And we would want to just talk a little bit about the nurturing care framework. This whole package came out of the nurturing care framework, and so we want to really hear from her herself why the concept of this Father's Day show.
Oh, I think that mostly when people think of upbringing, they always think of the mother. And fathers do play such a significant role, even biblically. So I think that having this Father's Day show will serve to appreciate fathers who have been involved in their the upbringing of their children, but also to lay emphasis on the role that they play, even though they may be sidelined at home. A lot of fathers feel like children don't realize that they're also part of the parenting plan. So I think that this concept and drawing especially their attention to their role in delivering the nurturing care elements of a young child, especially in the 0 to 5 years category, I think that is very, very critical. It's very, very important.
Great. So what did you make out of the show? Interviewing the young fathers, sharing their experiences, interviewing KSM, sharing his experience as a father, a good one, of course. What, especially with the young fathers, what did you pick out of their experiences? We had a nurturing care challenge. What did you pick out of that as well?
Couple of things. I think that for me it was very important and interesting to learn that who the fathers have become is actually a result of how they were fathered. You know, so like it's been said many times, and you've also mentioned it, having the fathers understand their role is not only important for their current children, but for the next generation. So that is what I took away from it, especially the very emotional sharing of one of the fathers on the role that his father had played and continues to play even in the upbringing of his own grandchildren. So I think that Ghana has learned something today, and they've learned that fathers have a critical role to play, and even those who have not been significantly involved will begin to find, you know, a space in their homes to provide support to their wives and also to be an example to their children. The nurturing care challenge was very interesting. I'm still playing back, just watching how Team A handled the children. And one thing that I take away from it is capacity building is going to be important.
Great.
And I think that we've actually established that foundation with today's show. Some fathers don't just know how to do it. Because it was never done with them and was never done for them, you know. So even though they are willing to be there and willing to be a part of the process, they will need some skills.
Absolutely.
Because I looked at how the child was manhandled and I'm thinking, okay, he just doesn't know how to do it, you know. So that's why at M2M, a large part of our nurturing care rollout is focused on capacity building.
Absolutely.
And we provide capacity building at different levels to different groups, to community leaders, traditional leaders, opinion leaders. No matter how senior you are or no matter how distant you are, some skills will enable you get back into the you know, swing of things. So a large part of our nurturing care framework rollout is focused on capacity building.
Great. So as the country lead, I would want to ask this question, though a bit sensitive. You will find out that in our hospital setting, especially with the attendance of antenatal and postnatal or whatever, men do not play active role or key role because of the nature of our hospitals. But I want to ask this in related to what you do in providing HIV-related services to not mothers, but people who have that crisis. Do you find the men playing any key role in supporting their wives who may be positive or children who may be positive? Do you find them patronizing your interventions? And if not, how do you bring in that group of people?
Yeah. I think that a lot of what we need to do involves mindset shift. And I'll share with you a joke. A friend of mine who got pregnant in the US asked her husband to accompany her to the hospital. And he said, my father had 6 wives. He never went to the hospital. America is changing you, so I'm not following. So I think that a lot of it is advocacy, a lot of it is education, a lot of it is outreach. And now the Ghana Health Services is making a very conscious effort to focus on male involvement. So if you're a male partner who accompanies your female partner to ANC, you actually get served first. We have incentivized services for the couples that come together to ANC. So if your husband comes with you to the child welfare clinic, or he comes with you to the antenatal clinic, you actually go ahead of the queue.
Okay.
In other programs, we provide certificates of participation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, men like to feel appreciated.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't think it will happen on its own. It has to be a conscious effort.
As well.
So as part of M2M's work, we actually have indicators on male involvement, which we track routinely. So we go back to our strategies and, you know, what we can do to ensure that men actually participate fully. And you'll be surprised that when they do, they actually are saying, we want our own program because this is so fascinating and this is so exciting. So now we've seen men following their wives to the antenatal clinic, they are following them to the antiretroviral therapy clinic, they're following them to the child welfare clinic.
Good.
You know, so because there's a lot of outreach around male involvement, they've seen the importance of male involvement in the upbringing of their children, and they appreciate it. You know, so I find that once people know what the value is, they're actually going to patronize.
All right. So then, in terms of the challenges you've seen so far in this space, what will you share with us?
In terms of male involvement?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, men in general, in terms of health-seeking behavior, men are the worst. You know, men are the last ones to get a COVID test, or they're last ones to practice the COVID protocols. So now we are linking it to other things that are important to them. You may have heard some of them.
Yeah.
But I think it's a general challenge, and it's a gender sort of
based thing,
perception, and a gender-based thing. But at the same time, we've seen some amazing fathers. I have seen some of my own men, some other colleagues whose husbands are there at the antiretroviral therapy clinic with them. In fact, they are the ones who remind them for them to take their medication. They're the ones who support them to make sure that they are adherent, they remain in treatment. Because what happens is, if the male partner is not involved, your journey on the HIV treatment is going to be problematic. We've had women hide the medication in their drawers. They hide the medication in their kitchen. They take it out of the bottle
and put it in a different
in another whatever. Yeah. And the moment you skip your doses, you're putting your unborn child at risk, and the risk of transmitting becomes high. So once fathers are involved and they're educated on the importance of going on the journey together, it also enables us to get good treatment outcomes and also reduce transmission of HIV to the unborn children. So
Great.
Something we take very seriously.
Wonderful. So as an early childhood specialist, one thing that I find a bit worrying has to do with the fact that when you go to our school systems, we have very few men or males, let me put it that way, in the early childhood education system as teachers. Why do we have very few men in the space? Is it kind of only packaged for women? How do we, knowing for a fact that we need a lot of men in the space, in the nurturing atmosphere, because that plays a very key role. How do we change that narrative of having more men in the ACE education?
And I have a lot of jokes. I'll tell you another joke. A friend of mine's mother was a nursery school teacher. But when she got married to his father said, I need to stop teaching in the nursery because you start acting like those day nursery children, you know. So I mean, this is just anecdotal, but I think that it is a reflection of our hiring system. It's a reflection of our recruitment into schools. It's also a reflection of the way we actually promote early childhood education, because we make it seem as an arena for women.
Okay.
So the male teacher will start in class 5 and start teaching the social studies, start teaching the geography, because men in general feel those are sort of the hard nuts. They'll be the math teachers, they'll be the science teachers. And those are the same perceptions we take through even women doing home science and, you know, men doing medicine and all of that stuff. So I think that those are cultural mindset shifts that we need to make. And again, we're very excited as M2M that we're actually championing the momentum around early childhood development.
Great.
And it will not just go in one. I believe that it has to be multi-sectoral. It also has to be multifactorial sort of thing, so that we're not only focusing on responsive caregiving, we are not only focusing on the demand side, we're also focusing on the supply side. So on the supply side, we need to make sure that men are also involved in the skills of providing early childhood education, even in schools. You know, so both the demand and supply side elements
would have to be taken into consideration.
Great.
I know there are a lot of men in your life today. You want to share some few wonderful messages with. So you want to give the opportunity to share some Father's Day messages with them.
You are like there's so many lovely fathers out there, so many special people, many of them pastors in my life, reverends, evangelists. There's so many, I don't even know where I'll start, but I'll start with Reverend Sterling back in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, Bishop Dag, my spiritual father, Bishop Maiden, who is the head of my mission here in Accra. And also my big brother, who I just said to you, is actually the father of us. We are a family of 8, and my big brother now is the big daddy. So Mr. Philip Prempe, wherever you are sitting in Childwell this afternoon, we want to wish you a happy Father's Day. Of course, to KSM for graciously accepting to join us. He's one of my biggest fans. To my son in Canada, Mr. Darrell Ferguson, who just turned 23, becoming a father. I hope he's still in school.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to the fathering times and preparing himself. So, and to all of you, to Mr. Sam, for being such a wonderful colleague, and I know that it's a reflection of your good parenting skills as well, because I feel like I've been parented in this session. So thank you all very much to all the fathers out there and the mothers who are also fathers in your own rights, and to everyone. It's been a wonderful time spending this time with you.
Great. Thank you so much for partnering with us to bring this educative content to our viewers, especially I believe fathers are doing a lot more and they're doing well, but it's unfortunate sometimes we don't have the platform to really bring that out and encourage and inspire a lot more people to come into the space. So this is a great step, and we want to say a big thank you to you as well. All right. Much. I also want to wish a lot of people today, I just don't want to make an error. So I want to wish my father a happy Father's Day. And like just as I indicated from the beginning, my dad is the one who actually took care of us. Yeah, so he played a dual role, and it was very, very fantastic. So he is the one who has made me who I am today, and I really thank him very much, Mr. Atosam, and the entire family, all the men in my family, my uncles and everyone. To the Secretary General of AAU, Professor Etienne Ahile, we wish you a Father's Day. He would have loved to be part of the show, and he's a great father. And all the mentors, I don't want to mention names, because if I do, then I'm going to leave others out. So everyone who has played a key role in my life, I want to say happy Father's Day to you. May the good Lord bless you, increase all of us, and I think we'll have the opportunity to share some of these wonderful content next year as well. To my technical crew, the fathers, Eric and the team, happy Father's Day to all of you. You've been fantastic, amazing. The pressure was high, intense, yet we were able to pull this through, and that shows how resilient we are as fathers, even in our homes as well. So on this note, we want to say thank you to everyone who joined us in making sure that this program becomes a success. We want to say thank you very much. A special thank you going to Africa Early Childhood Network for the support, to Mothers2mothers M2M Ghana for the support, and to the Early Childhood Network Ghana, which I am the coordinating director as well. So we will be bringing you educative content and a lot more on issues surrounding early childhood education in Ghana, in Africa, and the globe as well. Until we see you in 2022, July or June, I want to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been ECNG M2M Father's Day show, brought to you by the Association of African Universities Television. And make sure you join us next year. Bye.